This is not a photo book, it's an iPad, and there is a connection to photo books in that various photo books have come to the iPad or similar tablet computers in the form of apps, which makes a lot of sense for quite a bit of books, especially, for example, books that are sold out and that for some reason cannot be reprinted, or books that are designed to be accessible to a larger audience. Let's face it, the world of photo books is a rather small area of the art world, or the larger world of whatever we want to call it, and making some work accessible for a larger number of people in a different form that might appeal to different people is probably a good idea. So I was going to show you a book that came out a few years ago and that sold out, Why Mr. Why by Geert van Kesteren. It's a book about the Iraq War and everything that went wrong, and as you know, everything includes quite a bit. And this is the iPad version of that book. The way this works is actually rather simple and straightforward. This is the front page, and you go to a different chapter by simply pulling this up or down. Well, that's kind of obvious. And then if you want to look at the chapters, you pull them sideways. So this is the introduction to the chapter, and then you get the pictures. For every picture you have the option of showing a caption which comes from the side, and you can make that disappear again. Everything is available in English and in Arabic, and then you can look at these photographs in this very, very simple manner. This is of course a very different experience than looking at the book in paper form. I don't have that book, so I don't actually know what it looks like. And it allows for a convenient yet interesting approach to these kinds of pictures. I mean, let's face it, a lot of these types of photographs are being consumed, and maybe consumed is the right word, consumed on computer screens or on the screens of little cell phones, your iPhone. A lot of these photographs might actually never see ink and paper, so it would seem that creating an electronic version of a book like this makes perfect sense. I mean, there are also all kinds of other considerations, larger audiences, the potentially much smaller costs that are created by making something like this. As I said, you click on the caption and then there's a caption coming up. So there's a lot more to this than just flicking through. Of course, you can just mindlessly flick through and look at the pictures, or just look at the pictures that you like, or you can literally read all the captions. Notice how you can scroll when this caption is there. And then you can always go back, if you don't know where you are, you can always go back to the index by pressing the little index here. Notice that everything is bilingual. So there's I think 13 or 14 chapters, and Van Kesteren added an additional over 100 pictures to this app. So you can just seeing from the captions to get an idea of what happened. Here's the United Nations bomb attack. U.S. troops in palaces, the role of women. We got him, when Saddam Hussein was captured. Most of it is centered on, not most of it, but a lot of it is centered on American soldiers and people like the U.S. Administrator Van Kesteren. Occasionally the image comes sideways, so you just turn your device. It's easy enough. Van Kesteren was embedded, as the term is, with the military, the U.S. military. This is a pipeline, an oil pipeline that was blown up by insurgents in 2003. So you see, you're starting to get the picture, and if you're willing to spend, here's actually, this is a little bit about the background. You remember the weapons of mass destruction that were never found, so this is sort of something that was found, and it turned out it wasn't a weapon of mass destruction at all. So all that stuff is in this book, and you can really dive in and look at This is actually fairly easy to navigate unless you're sitting around a tripod with a little video recorder as I am right now. Also, just a comment, if you think the text is too small, then that might just mean that you should be honest with yourself and go to an eye doctor and finally get those glasses. I think everything is easily readable on the smaller version of the iPad, so I don't have that concern. That said, if you're worried about your eyesight, or if you think, you know, this is too small, then just buy a bigger iPad if you're interested in stuff like that. As I said, I'm perfectly fine with this size, and I like working with this handy and light version of the iPad. But your mileage might vary. So regardless, this is a different engagement than you might have with a book in all kinds of ways. The psychology of holding this is very different. Usually I don't have this on the floor, of course. I have it in my lap. So this is Why Mr. Why. I don't know what else I can tell you about this, other than that you might want to check it out if you have one of these devices. And just to give it a shot. Also, this is probably the most important book made about the Iraq War, and it deserves to be seen more widely. This is Why Mr. Why by Geert van Kesteren.